That's right. Back at it again, Full Custom Hot Dog here, and we're doing another movie review. That's right, we're going to be talking about the film Boss Level, just recently released, direct to Hulu. Just kind of a bummer. I wish this movie would have released to theaters. I wonder if it would have been released to theaters if we were in the normal world pre or post-COVID, whatever that looks like. But I would have loved to have seen this in the theater. I'm curious to know if there would have been more hype around it. Just because it's streaming doesn't mean that it shouldn't get hype. We know tons of things that are streaming only, especially now, that get hyped. So I wonder if maybe Hulu's not advertising this. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this, though. And I feel like it should be. I think it's fun. I think it's cool. It's a time loop movie. And it does some interesting things with it, I think. I don't know if we get a lot of action time loop movies. So, before we jump into it, what is this about? Well, according to IMDb, a retired Special Forces officer is trapped in a never-ending time loop on the day of his death. That's it. Short, but sweet. And yes, that is technically what the movie's about, but there's a little bit more. As he is dying every day, he learns a little bit more and more about a situation and what he's supposed to sort of unravel into why he's in this time loop and what should he be doing, basically. What's great about this, though, is like I mentioned, it's an action movie, and he is very much learning from every experience, as he is a retired Special Forces officer. And it's great to see him kind of get attacked, and he's already just going through these motions at times. And in one scene, he's putting on his clothes while fighting somebody off. He starts to unravel secrets, things like that. But the concentration here is on action. This movie's directed by Joe Carnahan, someone whose name I'm not familiar with, but whose work that I've seen anyway has been pretty fun. Director of the A-Team remake, which I haven't seen, but he also did Smoking Aces, which makes sense because there are some nice Smoking Aces vibes here that I very, very much appreciate, which we'll get into. And then also he produced The Grey. He's done quite a few different things, and I think he's got a real knack for action, which is great because he's going to be directing the Raid remake, according to IMDb. Not a bad choice for it. Now, people are probably saying, we don't need a Raid remake. Yes, we don't. But we're getting one. So, if you're going to get one, put it in the right hands, please. And I think that's a good choice for it. And I also hope he would probably put Frank Grillo in there somewhere, as he's a total blast in this movie. This is probably the most fun I've had with Frank Grillo in a movie. And I think he's always a blast, too. Don't even get me wrong. If you don't know Frank Grillo, he was in The Purge 2, maybe Part 3. I don't really remember Part 3. I didn't care for that one too much. Also, Crossbones in the MCU, and Captain America and Civil War, which I barely remember him in. But he was also in End of Watch, The Grey, Zero Dark 30, tons and tons of stuff. Mainly for me, though, it's this, The Purge 2, and Beyond Skyline that I remember him from. And he makes a great leading man. Dude can carry a film. The cast for this movie is pretty weird, by the way. It's kind of this weird mix of people you'd expect to be in this movie and people I feel like you wouldn't. So I mentioned Frank Grillo. You've also got Mel Gibson and Naomi Watts. They're all here. Pretty standard fare, I think, for a little action movie. But then you get Will Sasso from Mad TV, who does a pretty good job in a mostly serious role. You've got Michelle Yeoh from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Ken Jeong from all kinds of stuff. Former MMA champ and professional wrestler who also played B.A. Baracus in the recent A-Team remake, Quentin Rampage Jackson, and even Tampa Buccaneer / former New England Patriot, Rob Gronkowski. So it's kind of a weird mix of people who I didn't exactly expect to see, but they all meshed pretty well together. Now that brings me to the film's tone. So I keep mentioning action movie, but it is something that knows how to have fun with itself. It's very aware in the fact that, hey, this is kind of a goofy premise. Even the film itself acknowledges the fact that it doesn't quite understand its time loop mechanics in a way, and that's fine, because it doesn't really matter, because we're focusing on the action, and there's some light comedy aspects as well, because he acknowledges that, you know, this is like being in a video game, or here comes the boss level, things like that. My only complaint with that is that I wish it pushed video aesthetics a little bit further. And what I mean is something like Crank, where it was kind of shooting these graphics at you, or even Guns Akimbo, similar thing, just wild, colorful graphics coming at you that kind of send home this video game message. Now, they do it whenever he dies. It shows that it's his next attempt, and there's a counter that keeps going, which is cool. But I almost wish it would just go that little bit of an extra inch just to push that video game thing home, because I like that. But in what it is, I enjoy it very much. Great action scenes, a great assortment of killers. So Frank Grillo wakes up and is pursued by these killers no matter what, no matter where he goes. They always know where he is. And what I like about that, and if you watch many of my videos, you know that what I like in Killers and Assassins is a cool hook and a cool get up or something. And he gives them all nicknames. There's a shorter guy who uses bombs. There's a pair of women who use a gun. One of them, I think, uses a gun of a questionable origin. I don't like to give spoilers. You also have a guy who uses a spear gun, and it's attached to his truck. You've got a pair of German twins who Quentin Rampage Jackson plays one of, which you don't get enough of these guys. All of these wild characters I'm describing, you don't get enough of them. But that's not even a complaint against the movie, because the movie's doing so many other things at the same time. It's giving you exactly what it can of everything. No complaints. But that's exactly why this movie does that right. Because these type of characters, I don't think it should be beating you over the head with them and giving you just enough to where you want more. And you want a sequel, you want spin-offs. And that's what I get from these type of characters is I enjoy them, I love them on screen, and they're having fun. There's also a young female swordsman character who is great. Her name's Guan Yin. And every time she kills somebody, she has this quote. I am Guan Yin, and Guan Yin has done this. And she does it every time, and it's fantastic, and it's fun. Almost reminds me of No More Heroes. If you guys haven't played those games, those are very assassin-centric. I'll probably mention that game every time I talk about this. I don't even know if it's a trope, but I do love movies that give us cool and wild assassins, which brings me to that whole thing I mentioned about the Smokin' Aces vibe. That's sort of where that kind of comes in, where you had outlandish, wild characters there. You've got them here. And it's all wrapped in this tight little package of a time loop movie that's incredibly self-aware, is just having fun, and it does it all right. And it's kind of a bummer that more people aren't talking about this movie, because I think you should. It's not movie of the year, not the greatest movie ever seen, but damn, it's a solid watch. If you've got Hulu, there's no reason why you shouldn't have watched it already. Pop this movie on, enjoy yourself, make some popcorn, or if you can't see it, I don't even know if it's playing in the theater. If it's playing in the theater, go watch it in the theater, please. But it's a blast. Frank Grillo is incredible, and I say that because dude is like 55, 56, still a beefcake, still just this powerhouse, intimidating ass dude. Mel Gibson, by the way, has aged pretty okay, still holding it down, still a very intimidating figure, though it might be because some of those voicemails.
That's because you're a fucking using whore.
Who knows? Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments if you've seen this. If you haven't seen this, I think this is an enjoyable blast. Again, not movie of the year, but damn, I can't ask for too much more from an action movie. Fun concept, great action sequences, pretty well done. But again, let me know what you think in the comments. I always love talking about these movies with you. And again, if you have Hulu and you haven't watched this, let's get at it. Let's watch this movie, folks. So, I am your host, Full Custom Hot Dog. You could follow me on Twitter. It's Full Custom Hot Dog without the last because that is just too long for Twitter. So, thank you all for watching, and until next time. If you like what you see,
I love what I see.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications so you can watch whatever comes next. And if you like the music you hear, you can follow me on SoundCloud and Spotify. Check the description for links.